Welcome back, Hamlet Crew. Hamlet Crew. Happy Thursday. We are back to our regularly scheduled programming slot. I'm your host, Brett Merriman. To my right, the lovely, the Scrubsy, Sally deFries. What's going on, Sal?
I'm stifling a yawn. Okay.
Nice.
Is it possible to have a 4-day hangover?
Ooh, I've never gone 4. I'm very much into my terrible 2s, which means that
You're having a 2-dayer?
my hangovers have just now evolved to where 2-day hangovers are very much in play at this point.
I don't know that this is a 4-day hangover. I think it's a moral hangover for sure.
Okay.
But I still cobwebs up in the brain. You know?
Yeah.
It's not helping that the allergies are bad. But I mean, Saturday down bad. Sunday pretty bad.
Sure.
Yesterday I'm more just tired, not hungover.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is I injured myself at the wedding.
Did you?
Are you surprised, Randy? Are you?
Nope.
Sorry, one more time, Randy.
Nope.
You there are 3 people in this room. 2 of them were putting on a dancing clinic on the dance floor.
I mean,
I'll let y'all
Randy
guess
did a
who.
full workout. Okay,
Oh, yeah.
I still don't know what the dance move is called that he did. Did something slide, right?
The Juby
slide,
The Juby
which
slide.
we just did on Circling Back live Instagram.
Check it
and
out.
I should not have done that. My ankles are hurting more than ever.
Do you recall when I also tried to do it with you and nearly twisted my ankle?
No, I don't remember. I
4-inch stilettos?
I do remember us dancing on the dance floor, and I might have thrown my ass too hard and might have knocked you over.
I
don't
do
the Juby
remember
slide.
also falling.
Randy knocked you over with his monstrous
He
ass.
threw his ass in a circle.
Did you do that? Did you do that to that lady too? When
No.
you, and then,
He was not the cause of the actual injury.
then you danced on her grave.
No, I was going out to do the Juby slide on the dance floor for the first time, and then I looked over and there was that happening. I'm like, this is not the appropriate time to do this.
I do think you probably weren't even aware of it. I tried to copy you post video, and it's nearly impossible to do in 4-inch heels.
Oh,
and
yeah.
by
It's nearly impossible to do. Period.
But I injured my neck lot by thrashing my head around and playing air guitar to Fall Out Boy and Blink-182.
I believe I may have been part of that scenario.
I also might have knocked Rachel over, pushing her out of the way while I was trying to sing Fall Out Boy with you. So my apologies to Rachel.
It might have happened.
I took no prisoners on the
Right.
dance
It's
floor.
just you become it's something to be. What am I trying to say? You become a different person. On the dance
I think
floor.
people think that either I'm drunk or this is like an act, but this is just how I do at weddings,
That's how you do. I've seen it multiple
And
times.
Will just stands off to the side and watches me.
And
It's
I have a blast with you. I'm not the most talented dance floor compadre out there.
no, but you
But I'll
give
put
it
in
your all,
I'll
which
put
I
in
love.
effort.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm there. I'm ready. I'll bet lead off.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not driving in runs per se, but I'm out there.
Yeah.
So
I think we had a good time.
we had a
But
great time.
I literally could not turn my neck
Mhm.
for 2 days. I was if I had to turn, I had to turn my whole body like this.
Sure.
Only our viewers at YouTube can see this
Right.
at home. But I couldn't turn my head.
How are we doing? How are we doing now?
We're doing better.
On the mend? Okay.
We're a lot less stiff. I was it was
It's
worrisome.
tough out there. It's tough
out
there. I followed up Friday night with a bar crawl on Saturday. So I went noon to noon.
That is terrible.
And then I followed that up Sunday with a round of golf with our pal Randy.
Uh-huh.
So did 2 transfusions there, 2 beers afterwards, and then went to Little Woodrow's in Bee Cave, the new one.
I think a transfusion would have actually been helpful
Oh,
too.
it was fantastic. It was just more that I did 7 drinks after that. I didn't need to
Right.
do. But it was like a friends we hadn't seen in a while, kind of
Okay.
like Sunday fun day thing. And yeah, so we're in
Got your
a
liquor.
spot.
Maybe you just need a little detox.
That's what we're doing.
Okay,
Yeah, this has been a
okay.
detox week,
Okay.
except for the content we had to do for a certain sponsor of ours yesterday.
Okay, cool. So you haven't started. You're still toxing. You haven't detoxed. yet.
Does beer count?
Beer counts.
Okay.
Beer counts.
Does a half shot of Malort count too?
Oh yeah, technically I did a half shot of Malort today too.
Okay,
So
we gotta move on.
It's been one of those. It's like the epitome of a sneaky bender.
Let me just say, I was on call
Mm-hmm.
on Sunday, and we were having to do a lot of scopes to people who have stomach and liver issues because they drink too much. Nothing really gives you a hangover quite like seeing someone else have cirrhosis.
Yeah, don't want to do that.
Don't drink, people, even though we just talked about drinking for the past 5 minutes.
Yeah. Wedding weekend, get after it. Just detox. Have periods of detoxification, right?
I'm very glad though. I don't think I have another wedding until my brother's wedding in August.
In Italy.
In Italy. So
I'm going to San Francisco actually Sonoma for a wedding. So
tight.
there's probably going to be some wine involved.
Probably not. I don't know.
Why wouldn't there?
That was a joke. I was being sarcastic.
Hang on a minute, Sally. Want to do the mail-in?
Sure.
We are the mail-in. Tell us a friend. Tell us a friend. Tell a friend about the pod. Send them a clip. Send them over to our Spotify or our iTunes to have them subscribe or follow. Hit the hotline number 888-362-MAIL. That is 888-362-6245. Or you can write in at the link to the Twitter bio at Mail-In Podcast or in the description of this episode. So hit up the store. Hit up the YouTube. YouTube.com/MailinPodcast. We are back.
We back, baby.
We are no longer the bad boys and girls of podcasting. So thank you, Randy, for that. Let's get into it, shall we? You want to do the first? You want to lead off?
I'll lead off.
Hell yeah.
Hey, Brett and Sally. How do I not feel guilty for canceling plans? I'm 2 years post-grad and finally making a solid social circle. I recently canceled last-minute plans because I had a migraine, and I can't get over how guilty I feel. Deep down, I know it literally does not matter, but the other half of me still feels bad and doesn't want to ruffle any feathers, since making adult friends has been somewhat anxiety-inducing. Look forward to hearing your thoughts, and shout out to the Sal Gals. Heart emoji.
Just the Sal Gals.
Hand heart. You know, this is how Gen Z is doing hearts.
Let's see. Middle
I
finger
don't
down.
like that at all. This is the millennial heart.
Okay.
That you make with your hands.
Obviously.
And then we're talking like 2 C's that you put together. The Gen Z heart is like
that?
Like this.
Right there?
I don't like it.
I feel like I have to contort all of my hands to do that.
It's not round enough.
Not huge. Okay.
Okay. How do you get over it? You get older and you have hangovers. And then you decide that it's not worth your time anymore.
So canceling plans, I think the biggest thing with canceling plans is one time is totally fine. Don't be a serial canceller. Like don't be if you don't
want to be a flake.
If you're going to be a canceller, just say no. Right? Like if you can be a serial no person, but just don't be a canceller. Be like, "Oh yeah, I can't wait." And then Thursday rolls around, you're like, "Hey, XYZ excuse, but one time's no problem."
We have a question later that this is one of the things that would be my answer. But as a person who used to get FOMO, I don't really anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But a person who definitely overcommits themselves
Sure.
and has a problem saying no to people.
Mm-hmm.
There's a couple things that I have learned with age and some wisdom. Exactly what you said. Don't say yes and then be the cancel person, because then you just seem flaky.
Yep.
Also, you don't have to make up lies. Like,
Sure.
I would feel bad about canceling and saying like, oh, like maybe I wouldn't lie, but I would like over dramatize what was going on. So if I had a headache and was tired and just said like, hey, I've been working all day and I am tired, I want to go home, I just be like, oh, I'm still at work and I have a migraine. Like, when someone's lying because they're adding too many details and you're like,
they're over detailing, they're over customizing this lie.
That was my problem.
Okay.
And first of all, it's not believable, but also like even if they're not your friends, even if it's somebody you're not close to, you still can say your piece. Like,
yeah, totally.
I mean, maybe don't like be a bitch and be like, I'm not going because I hate your boyfriend. But like,
maybe leave that detail out.
But like, if you really are tired or like you overcommitted yourself and you've got too much shit to do with work, or, you know, you just need a night at home, or your family's coming in town tomorrow and you want to clean your apartment. Say whatever the real reason is. And even if that's, I'm tired, like, first of all, it keeps you from having to lie. Second of all, it validates your reasoning, because you should be able to give a reason that's like, even if your reason is I'm tired and I don't want to go. And third, especially if you're the I'm tired, I don't want to go person, you're constantly saying no. If you're being truthful, first of all, it kind of makes you be accountable with yourself and be like, oh God, okay, I've said I've been tired like the past 8 times. Like, I probably just need to suck it up and like go, because a lot of the times the caveat is that if you are a chronic canceler and then you actually go, you end up like having fun and are glad you went.
Sure. Yeah.
But also it like clues in your friends to like, hey, maybe we should stop inviting Sally places on Thursday when she like, that's like her hardest day of the week or whatever, you know, like whatever maybe. But when I was post-grad working in ICU, it was very emotionally, mentally, physically taxing on me. And it was really hard for some of my friends who had 9-to-5 jobs or were still in school and things like that to like understand what I was going through. And I would totally overcommit myself. I'd come straight from work in scrubs, like having just spent a day with a dying patient. You know, like you've got to be kind to yourself.
Totally.
And I think especially there are specific personalities, but I think especially women have this problem of like, we can't say no. I have to do this, whatever, whether it's a friend's birthday party or even if it's like I think especially when you're in that post-grad era where you're like dating.
There you go.
And maybe you met somebody on an app and you like are supposed to go get drinks with them and you like don't want to cancel because
then it means
there's a whole connotation that comes with that. Now, if you're going to do that, if it's a date and you're canceling and you're like, I'm just really not in a headspace and I don't want to go, I think that is important to, again, be honest. Be like, hey, I am so sorry. I've had a really tough day. However, can you reschedule to this day?
Right. Yeah. Give them another option.
Because somebody's going to be like, wow, they're blowing me off.
Yeah.
People are going to understand as long as, again, you're not the chronic person. But not having guilt about this totally comes with age.
Yeah, absolutely.
And your priorities changing. I think it's hard when you are immediately post-grad and making friends and you're like new, you know, work, city, etc. You don't want to say no to people. And like I said, some people personality-wise have a really hard time saying no. But you also need to give yourself some grace and be okay with the fact that you're at home in your pajamas, eating on your couch, watching Vanderpump Rules or whatever it may be.
Yeah, make this easy. Canceling last minute one time, you're totally fine. Don't make it a habit. If you're going to be the person that overextends yourself, get comfortable with saying no. I'm the fun combination of like to overextend and just be a people pleaser. So I say yes and then go to everything. And then I'm just like, man, I'm so tired at the end of the week. Wonder why.
Right.
And it's like, oh, well, because I met up with this was at Barstool. This is 22 to 25 every night of the week. Not like going out, but just happy hour drinks, dinner drinks, happy hour with at a friend on a friend's couch. Like, and then I would get to Sunday night, having spent all of my money, having deleted all of my social energy, and now I'm like, oh, time to go to work again and start it all over again.
And I think it's really important, like I said, about being honest, because people are also in the same boat you are, even though you think you're the only person who's broke or tired or trying to diet or drink alcohol less or whatever the excuse may be. If you're like doing a Whole30 or you cut out alcohol or you're trying not to spend money that week, just say that.
Yeah,
you don't need to be embarrassed of it.
People are like, oh, cool, me too. Or like, oh, cool, that's what I'm doing next week.
Right.
Like,
I would like cut out alcohol for a month and then not tell anybody because I was like too embarrassed.
Yeah.
Why? What the thing that I'm trying to do now as like a full-fledged adult is just learn how to say no in the moment instead of canceling later on. Be like, you know what? I'm going to give you a no to that.
Yeah, exactly. That's all that comes with age. It comes with the territory. If you're just being like, oh, like, hey, I'm not going to be able to make that. And just, you can give a reason. If it's up front, you cannot give a reason. Just, no, I can't make that one.
And honestly, part of it is hard because I think at the time you say yes to something and then shit starts piling up and you're like, I said yes to this a month ago and now I'm over it.
Sure.
But I'm really trying to like, I've slow played. Like in my 20s, I would say yes and then cancel. Then like late 20s, early 30s, I would like give a like maybe. And
you give yourself an out.
Yeah. But now I'm like, I'm going to tell them up front. No, I don't.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that. Nah.
Yeah. I tell Randy that all the time. He gets mad at me.
What?
Whenever you're like, oh, you want to do this week? I'm just like, no.
Yeah, baby, you don't say it like that. You always go, oh, man, totally would.
Oh, no way. I have that root canal.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. I have to tell the story just really fast.
Okay.
One of my best friend's husbands, we were at a wedding probably 5 years ago, and we were sitting across from our friends who at the time were engaged, and my friends at the time, fiance, is like talking to Will about his bachelor party, and they're gonna go to Vegas, and it must have been years ago because I think the weekend was currently doing like a residency.
Oh wow.
In Vegas. Anyway, so he's like telling Will about it and how they're gonna do this and that, and he's like, "Man, you should come." And Will goes, "Oh man, I can't." And he goes, "I didn't even say when it was."
Oh yeah, I can't make that.
I can't do that.
Like, and cool. I didn't even tell you the dates.
Yeah, no, that's exactly how the whole conversation went. We were like,
oh no,
this is uncomfortable. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. You know what I'm trying to do as I get older, Sally?
I mean, this is what I'm doing instead of going out to dinner with people.
Yeah, eating a little healthier, cooking at home, and becoming a better chef.
Saving a little money.
With Green Chef, how does buttery lemon garlic shrimp sound?
Like what I had last night for dinner, actually.
How about some spicy ginger lime shrimp and bacon bowls?
Mm-hmm.
That like doesn't even sound super healthy for you, but it is.
Yeah.
Because it's our friends over at Green Chef.
Yeah.
Maybe some harissa spiced chicken or sesame pork and cauliflower rice bowls.
Have you made the harissa chicken?
Yeah.
It's so good.
It is so good. I have my favorite from Green Chef in my pantry that I'm going to do, well, I guess my fridge. The fig and prosciutto pita pizzas.
Yeah, those are a delight.
Delightful. And it's like 10 minutes to get ready. Oh, they're so good. Green Chef, if you could not tell, is a meal kit that is sent to you weekly or monthly or however frequently you would like. They give you the tools to be your own chef. Mm-hmm. What they do is they deliver you a box of ingredients. So it's not pre-made. There's time and place for that for past sponsors of ours and whatnot. But Green Chef is giving you the tools fresh from the store to put a meal together yourself. And it's given me a confidence boost in the kitchen. I used to be takeout, pasta only, like peanut butter and jelly for dinner kind of guy. I throw some stuff together now, Sally.
Yeah.
You should see me. I can whip something up.
All right, Gordon.
I can whip something up. I might not be on Next Level Top Chef, whatever you watch. But
Next Level Chef, are you going to level up?
That's the one. I can level up in the kitchen thanks to Green Chef. Each week, choose from 80 plus flavor-packed options, including new calorie-smart recipes and wellness bundles. You can easily customize your meals to suit your lifestyle with preferences like keto, plant-based, Mediterranean, gut and brain health, calorie-smart, quick and easy, protein-packed, and gluten-free. That's huge for our boy, Lil Pesco.
Yeah.
AKA your husband, who's conveniently pescatarian, I guess is the way to put it.
No, but he's back off his pesco, which is great for me because now I can just make all the meals I want from Green Chef.
That's huge. Green Chef offers unique farm fresh ingredients like figs, dates, and artichokes, plus sustainably sourced seafood. Say that 5 times fast, Randy. Sustainably sourced.
He's not going to.
He's not going to. So here's the deal. Be like Sally. Be like me. Be better in the kitchen. I mean, it's cheap, it's easy, it's fun, and it's healthy for you. And Green Chef is going to make you a better chef, a better diet, a better consumer, all in one. greenchef.com/60mail and use code 60mail to get 60% off, plus 20% off your next 2 months. Again, that's greenchef.com/60mail and use code 60mail to get 60% off, plus 20% off your next 2 months. Hey, Mail and Crew. First world problem here. Ready for this one?
Mm-hmm.
My girlfriend travels internationally for work maybe once a quarter. These trips are largely recreational, like they might have 1 to 2 meetings, but the rest of the trip is sightseeing, fancy dinners, and late nights out drinking. She's already been to Asia for 12 days this year, and in a couple months, we'll be going to the Caribbean for 1.5 weeks. Basically 12 days. Since she goes on these international trips, she can't really travel internationally with me, which leads us to go on maybe one vacation a year for about a week. I think it's awesome that she has these opportunities and can experience so many cool things, but it's given me some unfortunate resentment because I haven't been on an international trip with her in years. And she's going multiple times a year, 100% for free. I feel guilty planning a trip without her, and I don't even know where I'd go. She says this is how it's going to be for the foreseeable future, since she's most likely staying at this company for a long time. What should I do? Should I just start traveling by myself? And if she wants to join for a weekend, she can do that. The last time I traveled solo, I was single, stayed at hostels, and partied all night. No big deal. That doesn't seem like the vibe I should be going for these days. I'm 28 and in a 3-year relationship. Do I just get over it and accept that I get one vacation a year for the rest of my life, and she'll get to go experience these awesome things every year? What kind of job is this?
I need context as to what she does.
Sales,
right?
Like 12 days
is a long time.
12 days, 1 to 2 meetings. Seems like an egregious misuse of company resources.
Correct.
I
feel like, did you just add this in because you want this to make this like a wash policy that y'all can just take a 12-day trip?
No.
Okay. I wish we had some context here, but here's a couple thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
What's the rule here on like significant other spouses?
Ooh, as in if they were married, would this change it?
Like, I'm like, is this like a company thing? Because
oh, I see. Like, can she bring her?
Right.
Yeah.
My sister is part of a company that does a reward trip.
Sure. Like President's Club, you get whatever.
Right. Like, because she's in sales. That at the, whenever they take the trip,
yeah,
you're allowed to bring a spouse.
Mm.
You're also allowed to bring a friend.
Oh, wow.
Oh, I'm sorry. You are allowed to bring a boyfriend or girlfriend or a spouse.
Cool. Okay.
You are not allowed to bring a friend. But the spouse or boyfriend or girlfriend can come with you, like all expenses paid, essentially.
No shit. So like,
well, like you're paying for their flight, but like whatever.
Yeah. Okay.
So she has a couple friends who are like single, and they're like, I can't just bring a friend because he's not my boyfriend or she's not my girlfriend. I'm like, yeah, just.
This says Randy rom-com plot. Right?
Yeah.
Get the wheels spinning.
Anyway.
President's Club, you make it. You're like, oh shoot, I met you at a bar, and you have to pretend to be my boyfriend for like a week and a half.
And there's only one bed in the hotel, and you have to share it.
And guess what happens?
They get together
and fall in love.
Okay, so anyway, the whole point of this
they're found out during the process that they're not really boyfriend girlfriend. But guess what? By the end, they are.
They're in love. Okay, so my point being, what's the company policy on that? Like,
sure.
Are no significant others are going along, or just married people? Because maybe you get married one day and then you're allowed to go. I don't know.
Yeah.
It sounds like that's not the case here, because I feel like he would have included that detail. But here's my thought. Are you allowed to go like at the end of the trip?
For a couple days. That was my thought. Can you like pay your own way? Or like, since she's going for free, can y'all split your travel and like
meet her in the Caribbean for the last 2 days?
Yeah. Like if your like significant other is on a work trip for what sounds like multiple weekends, you can't tell your employee to be like, oh yeah, no, they can't, like, you can't bring some, like, you can't meet up with them for a night. Like, right?
That's my number one is like, can you come for the last like 2 days and then y'all stay for a couple days on the tail end or at the beginning? But then I'm also like, it feels like a company is going to just
go under.
Take their employees on a trip that only has 1 or 2 meetings, and then the rest of the time is free time.
Yeah.
Number one, okay, are you misunderstanding? Like, are they doing more work than you think?
They
and
have
you maybe
to be.
Just resent her a little bit?
Is she doing like one retreat a year? And like
quarterly also sounds aggressive. I think okay.
We need more here.
I need more clarification. But here's my other question: is she not allowed to like take other PTO days? Like, is she not wanting to travel because she doesn't feel like she can because she's already traveling a lot and doesn't want to miss work for more travel? Or is it like, is she saying that, but like really she just is like too beaten down with the travel? I don't know. I need to know more about that too.
I need to know her side of this story.
I gotta know, because I'm like, does she not want to travel more because she's already traveling a lot, or she doesn't want to look bad with work? But then I feel like if work is so free that they're just like letting her go to Asia for 12 days, all expenses paid and partying, they probably shouldn't care if she goes to Mexico for a week with her boyfriend.
Yeah. And is she choosing, like, can she like can she come home after 3 days?
Right.
On these work trips, if, like, after the one meeting that they have. I just need to know the other side of this.
I need to know the other side. I do believe this guy. I'm not saying I don't.
Totally. I just need to know
here's
context.
Some other hard truths we need to talk about as adults, okay? She obviously works a great job that she gets to, very blessed to do this. I don't think many people are traveling internationally more than once a year, if at all.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, once a year is a lot for people in 20-something working.
Correct.
Time. Yeah.
I say that as I'm going to be traveling internationally at least twice this year.
Yeah. I mean, I got one for sure. And then maybe maybe a Canada.
I'm acknowledging to everyone that, one, I am a little bit more established than a 28-year-old.
Hell yeah.
And two, also one of those is Mexico, which, like, when you live in Texas, like, technically doesn't count as international.
That's why I hesitated on Canada and Mexico. I'm like, okay.
And you're like, does it count? Because, like,
there's certainly international.
You can, like, walk across the border. So anyway, I get where this guy's coming from. I get why he's frustrated. I think he needs to say a couple things to his girlfriend. Number one, you need to iron out, like, is this a situation where I could come meet you and we can, like,
100%. Can I turn it into a trip for me too?
Right. Because you could always go and, like, do your own thing, and then y'all, like,
yeah, you don't even have to, like, if she's doing a company dinner, no problem. Like, I won't.
And then you'll hang out the last couple days,
and then we'll go to the bar by ourselves, or go to the bar with your coworkers, and, like, I won't mooch your tab. I'll have my own separate thing. Like, yeah.
The other thing I think you need to be upfront about with her is be like, listen, I want to travel with you and I would love to take, like, a big trip with you. She obviously has gone probably a lot more places than he has.
Sure.
And maybe she's like, oh, I don't want to go back to, like, Asia. Like, I already did Hong Kong, etc. But you could also use that as an opportunity to be like, hey, I would really love to take a Caribbean trip with you, or an Asia trip with you. We can go back to a lot of the places that you went and, like, liked,
Yeah. Yeah.
Or you try somewhere new. But I think it's only going to lead to resentment if you don't talk to her about it. And I think if you explain, like, I really want to travel with you and I want to figure out a way to make that happen, whether it's like I join you at the end of these vacations or you set it some time apart for us to take a trip. So have that conversation, but then also travel by yourself.
Yeah. I mean,
travel with friends.
Everybody knows I love a good solo trip.
Solo trip, guys trip. Part of the reason that it sucks now being older and, like, having kids and stuff that, and again, I'm a hypocrite for saying this, it's hard to take, like, girls trips now because you're like, I've got to go with my family. I've got to go with my husband. I've got to go with my immediate, like, my parents. I am taking a girls trip this weekend, and it's literally been 10 years in the making because we graduated college and we were like, God, it's been more than 15 years, however long I've been out of college. We were like, we're going to do this trip every year. Have we done it one time? No, we haven't. Are we going to Scottsdale this weekend? Yes, we are.
Yeehaw.
But, like, every year there's an excuse of, like, oh, we can't do that because
so-and-so's pregnant, or
someone's getting married, or we're traveling too much. So you're in a really unique position where you can be like, grab a buddy who's single or doesn't have kids or whatever, and be like, you want to go to Barcelona?
Barta. Or Ibiza.
Peru.
Puerto Vallarta.
Sure.
Are we appropriating?
No. Take up golf. Travel for golf. Fucking everyone's going on golf trips all the time.
Randy's writing down what he has to cut out of the podcast because we were doing accents.
No. I have written down 3 different titles for your movie. So.
Oh, nice.
Oh, wow. What is it?
Yeah. I'll do
the President's Club.
My worst one to my best one. Worst one first. Friends with work benefits.
Whoa, I kind of like that.
Business partners. And then I think my best one is companion pass.
Oh, okay. Ooh. Okay.
We're getting some there.
We're
getting
that.
somewhere. We're getting somewhere. I like it.
Somewhere.
Maybe the whole thing is that he asked her while at the bar. It doesn't really matter if her work knows that they like just started dating, but they have to pretend that way because he has her as his companion on Southwest, and she has the same name as his ex-wife.
Whoa.
It's too complicated, probably.
It's a little bit. It's a little
it's
too.
Like
it's a little on the nose.
It's like that Curb episode or season where he's trying to find a date for someone to take with him to China, but she has to have a specific name because he can't change the ticket, and the girl was going to go with him. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
I think again, communicate with your girlfriend, but also please give us more details because, like, I'm
agreed.
Is there company hiring or like? Can I?
Yeah. Can I go with you?
Can we work there?
Yeah. Gotta know. Or maybe your girlfriend's just. Never mind.
You were just going to say maybe she's cheating on you on these trips? Cut that part out, Randy.
Hey, Brett and Sally. I have a big question about starting a family. My girlfriend and I have been together for 6 years, living together for 2. We recently discussed having kids, and she asked what I'd do if she didn't want them. I expressed my strong desire for kids, recalling a conversation from early in our relationship when I mentioned breaking up if kids weren't in the picture, and she asked if I still had the same opinion. I was not as harsh in my delivery this time around, but I more or less said that I feel similarly. Now she's hurt, feeling like I prioritize hypothetical children over her after 6 years together. I understand her perspective, but I'm unsure how to proceed. She says she wants to come to her own conclusion on whether or not to have kids, and I don't want to pressure her. However, I also can't imagine a life where I'm not a dad. I understand it's much easier for me to say, yeah, I want 3 kids, and I know it's a massive lifestyle change, but I feel really stuck. I love her to death, but I just don't know what to say. I just don't think I could handle a conversation. In 3 years, if she tells me she absolutely won't have kids, I will be devastated. How should I approach this moving forward? Appreciate your advice. Talking fundamental building blocks of a relationship here.
Do you think he breaks up with her?
I don't think so in the immediate, because I think you need sort of there can be no gray area. You can't break up with her if she's in the gray.
I agree.
You break up with her only, and you need you need this to be a two-way street only when she says, I'm officially a no. And that opinion is not going to change.
Okay, but how long do you wait for that?
I don't know. I don't think you get married until that has been discussed and discussed profusely, and conclusions have been met or come to.
So, yeah, okay.
Especially when you're not. It's not like he's indifferent.
Right.
He wants very much kids. Wants that.
I think people there's 2 camps. Okay. In my opinion, there's people who definitely know that they want or don't want kids.
Yep.
And then there's people who are kind of indifferent about it.
Sure.
And I think if you fall into the kind of indifferent about it, I need to know that your indifference is I'm indifferent in the sense that we will have them one day, but I don't care when, and I'm not rushing to do it. Or indifferent in the fact of if we don't have kids, it's not going to be the end of the world for me, but I would have kids. Yeah. To me, she's falling more into the camp of they're both falling into camp number 1 of he wants kids, she doesn't.
It sounds like she does not want kids and is afraid that that's going to end their relationship. Yeah, exactly. Is sort of stringing him along.
Now, her argument about him prioritizing future possible children
over her.
I understand where she's coming from, but he could almost say the same thing about her. Like,
I'm kind of on his side.
You're stringing me along for our relationship to the point where, like, I can't break up with you because you haven't told me what you want.
Correct. It's a perfect circle.
Right.
It's like chicken or the egg.
Right.
Me or the will you have me without kids or the kids without me? Like and then you're just gonna circumvent that thing.
I was pretty indifferent about kids until I got married. But I also knew that I would want them eventually, or like you can always move from camp 2 to camp 1, if that makes sense. You can be indifferent and then be like, okay, well, I want kids.
Sure.
But I think had somebody said to me, like, I will never, ever have children, I think I'd been like,
that would be, if it was a hard no, if it was like totally out, for me, that's a non-starter. That's like, okay, well, have a nice life kind of thing.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound like she's there. She says she wants to come to the conclusion on her own.
Yeah.
Which I would love her. Like, is she indifferent? Is she no but open? Is she a hard no? Like, where on the spectrum does she land versus just knowing that she's unsure, I guess? Is she unsure because of him? Is she unsure because of her? Is she unsure because of the world? Is she unsure because of like how do we get to the bottom of that uncertainty?
Right.
And go from there. Again,
I think the reason this is tough is because you don't want to lay out your whole relationship on the line for something that maybe she'll like in a year she'll come around on. But at the same time, for me, I'm like, do I want to waste time? Like, I love this person, but like, if I know fundamentally we're so different, like, are we in a spot where like I'm going to continue putting time into this relationship when I know, it kind of goes back to like what your thoughts are. Like, are you dating to marry? Because if you are, like, and we're going to have fundamental differences, then I wouldn't marry that person. But if you're dating to date and be in a relationship and love that person and
travel and
do whatever and know that one day it might end, then okay.
Yeah.
But I think much of society, not unfortunately, do whatever you want. I dated to marry, is dating to find their potential partner.
Sure.
Yeah. I would have a really hard time with this. And I think it would make me start questioning our entire relationship. And I understand that 6 years, it's so much harder because you're already so far into it versus like, I go on a date with somebody and like 3 months in, they're like, hey, by the way, I never want kids. You're like, okay, well, like,
or okay, great. Yeah, me neither. Like,
yeah. This unfortunately is going to require a lot more conversations, which is going to be tough on y'all because I think that is going to lead to a lot of fights and resentment towards each other. But when you can't reconcile your viewpoints about big stuff like this, are we going to have kids? Where are we going to live? Like,
totally.
How are we going to live? Like, we're going to be nomads. We're going to like buy a house and live there for 50 years. Like, you have to agree on that kind of stuff, at least in a sense of like, it might not happen now, but like it'll happen one day, or it might not happen ever. And that's cool. But like,
or agree on whatever compromise you can build into that, but that can't be black and white because it just won't.
And again, if you've been dating for 6 years and you met when you were 18 and you're 24, like maybe this isn't like the biggest deal breaker of your entire life. And you're like, okay, we can keep dating. I'll see what's going on. But at the same time, you have to personally decide for you, like, if I'm not going to marry her because she doesn't want to have kids, is it worse to break it off now? Or is it worse to break it off when inevitably we want to get married and I know that that's not who I want?
Yeah.
Those kind of breakups are the worst kind.
They happen.
They happen. And I think actually it's not the worst kind. Obviously people who like get cheated on or something like that is also terrible. But I think these are hardest to stomach because you everything else works.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with the present, the past, the love is there. It's just this like fundamental fork in the road of life that is not, it hasn't even happened yet. You're just, you're talking about that point when it does happen. So you're breaking up over a hypothetical, but it's not a hypothetical. It's you're breaking up over an unexperienced reality that is going to happen.
I don't like the
crazy.
The comments she made towards him. And like, it feels,
I agree.
I think that you are allowed to come back and say like that, of course I love you. I'm not prioritizing unborn children over you, but I very, very much want this experience. And like, I'm going to prioritize that being a dad.
Yeah, absolutely. And you have the right to. Like, that is a fundamental thing of life. There aren't many, but that is certainly one of them. So it's like, she's not going to change your mind.
Mm-hmm.
And if she's a hard no, you're not going to change her mind. And that's when you start getting into the sticky, like, well, then what are we doing?
Yeah.
So for her to say like, you're prioritizing hypothetical kids, it's like, yeah, I'm not prioritizing is the wrong word to use.
Right.
But that's certainly, I am considering that in talking about our relationship as a whole.
Yeah.
And our marriage or potential marriage. And absolutely.
Man, this makes me sad for this guy.
Yeah. But again, find out what camp she's in, like actually.
Yeah.
And get to the bottom of where her hesitations are.
And I don't think you need to be like, there's a 6-month time limit.
Yeah, there's an ultimate. Don't put an ultimatum or a time
But I
limit,
would say, like, I really want you to do some soul searching because
Totally.
I care about you and I want to be with you, but I cannot be with somebody long term, like in the game, who's not going to have kids.
Yeah. Yeah. There's like a little game theory involved. It's like, well, if her probability is 50-50 on making that decision, then which door do you take?
Mm-hmm.
You take the 100%, leave it closed, 100% leave it open, and then you have a 25%, chance of, I don't know.
You really lost me there. I'm not even going to have you.
I don't know if I did it right, but there's probabilities involved.
We're going to move on.
You know what I have a 100% probability of doing when I get home today?
Having a liquid IV?
Having a liquid IV, Sally, because I am the most dehydrated person in Austin, Texas. That is a fact. I played hockey this morning too. Sweat like crazy. I've peed once today. That's not good.
You're not a good teammate.
I'm a bad teammate. On the was that Tom Herman's chart?
Tom Herman's pee chart.
Tom Herman's pee chart, which is up in the Wash Media bathroom, so to speak. So I need some liquid IV in my life because they give you one stick of beautiful, beautiful powder that you put in a glass of water.
Vitamins.
And it hydrates you better than water alone. It's beautiful. Beautiful
It's a
science.
hydration multiplier.
You heard of cellular transport technology?
No, but I bet you're going to tell me what it is.
That's what liquid IV is loaded with. Liquid IV get you where you need to be. If you're staying up late, hanging out with friends, yelling at the game on TV, you do a lot over a big weekend. Maybe you go to a wedding and then a bar crawl and then a Sunday fun day and then have to do a content shoot at a certain dive bar around the corner.
Maybe you live somewhere where it becomes 110 degrees during the day.
Maybe you get run down and your immune system needs a boost sometimes.
Yeah.
Maybe you bike in 110 degree weather everywhere. Like Randy.
You got to replenish those electrolytes.
Absolutely. It's got 3 times the electrolytes of the leading sports drink, no artificial sweeteners, plus 0 sugar in the sugar-free version, 8 vitamins and nutrients, non-GMO, free from gluten, dairy, and soy. You are a grape, a Concord grape family, I believe.
The Concord grape. Yeah, we love it.
I keep it classic. I go lemon lime. No sugar. And absolutely love it. I was having it on the golf course this past Sunday.
I'm never going to fault lemon lime.
Never going to fault lemon.
The OG.
No, it absolutely is. So liquid IV, 1 stick of liquid IV, you pour it into your glass of water, you pour it into your water bottle, mix it on up, down the hatch. I like to sip it sometimes. I like to chug it sometimes. Really, it's up to you how you want to be hydrated. So here's the deal. Grab your Liquid IV Hydration Multiplier, sugar-free in bulk at Costco nationwide, or get 20% off your first order when you go to liquidiv.com and use code MAILIN at checkout. Weekend salary for going wild. Have a game plan for Monday with Liquid IV. Again, that's 20% off your first order when you shop Superior Hydration today using promo code MAILIN at liquidiv.com. Hey, Brett and Sally.
No, it's my turn.
Oh, is it your turn? I thought you did one in
I've only
this
done
time.
one.
Or did I go back to back?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Your turn. That's my
Hey, Brett, Sally. And shout out, Randy.
Hey, shout out, Randy.
Hey.
I, a 31-year-old male, have been married for almost 3 years. My wife, a 32-year-old female, and I have separate bank accounts. As we just see that before kids, this seems to work best for us. The other day, I got an email about a weird transaction on my account, so I decided to look up at previous transactions. I found 8 transactions in just this year of 2024 that I was not aware of. They were all transactions from my wife's, from new pajamas to Amazon purchases to some weird clothes for some blogger she follows on Instagram. I asked her about it and she said, "Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. I'll write you a check when I get home." She claims that she just clicks the autofill when she's checking out on these online purchases and doesn't notice that it's not her card. I feel like once or twice, okay, but 8 times is a little much. Also, it all equals up to about $850, which I know isn't much, but still. Just wanted to hear your opinion. Thanks.
Your wife's committing fraud. This is. I mean, $850 is a lot of whoopsies. 1 or 2, I get. But if I'm like looking at my January credit card statement, I'm like, 8. We got 8 times on here, huh? And it's my finances, and they're like they've obviously chosen to separate. That's a lot. I mean, I'm sure she's good for it. I'm sure she's like, "Hey, I'm gonna write the check." You don't look on your face like you either want to kill me or what's that look?
Okay.
I get it happens. I totally understand it happens, but
it sounds like that they need to have a conversation about their Will and I's finances are also separate.
okay.
Ish. Okay.
Sure. Yeah.
Like do we split everything down the middle? No. Do we have separate bank accounts? Yes. Should we probably combine our bank accounts? Also, yes.
Okay.
What we do works for us right now.
Mm-hmm.
Here's a couple, but we are on our way to getting a joint bank account. Part of the reason we haven't is because of pure laziness. I know that that's a horrible reason.
Okay.
But couple things. Number one, is it worth visiting having a joint account if you're going to have kids in the future and you know that you're going to have a joint account then? Number two, is it more that she spent the $850 and she spent it on your account without knowing and you want the $850, or is it you have a problem with the way she's spending money? Because to me, that's two different things.
Right. I think this is she was pushing the line to see what she could get away with. And this is where I think he has a problem. He noticed a pattern and he's like, hang on. She went 8 times back to the well. It's not necessarily the way she's spending money, because it's oh yeah, Amazon purchases, pajamas, blogger, I bought stuff from Instagram too. I think it's less that. He's the amount isn't even what really gets him annoyed. It's the pattern. It's if it was one purchase for $850 and it's a whole cart worth of stuff. Okay. I get how you could autofill, just whatever. But it's maybe January 6th, January 9th, January 17th. And if you're okay, we're seeing what we can get away with here.
See,
that's an interesting
disagree, but now you think that she's nefarious about it.
I don't think she's nefarious. I think it's just kind of
So you think this is on purpose?
I think she yeah. 8 times is a lot to have your card in the autofill on Amazon button and be oh, am I sending in 3196? Just click,
I'm going to defend her here because I have we share a family Prime account and I have accidentally charged the wrong person's credit card.
Of course, it happens, but 8 times is my number here. That gets, even if it was $32.
I think this needs some examining of them as a couple. Number one, Y'all clearly need to have a conversation about finances, because if you, one thing we have realized in my own marriage is that even before we got married and had a conversation about how we're going to like spend money, etc., that kind of goes out the window when you have children and you start creeping up on those Amazon purchases, etc. But also, it rarely do two individuals completely link up about how they decide to spend money. Okay,
of course.
Maybe they're both reckless. Maybe they're both crazy savers. Maybe in my case, one of us is a saver, the other person tends to spend a little more money. Unfortunately, in marriage and relationships, that's like a constant check-in. Like just the one premarital counseling conversation's not going to cut it, because people's spending habits change, people's the economy changes, people's jobs change. So it requires communication, and that can always make people really uncomfortable. I think especially when you have your accounts separate, it can make things more uncomfortable and maybe less out in the open and straightforward, because the other person is not seeing what you're spending.
Right.
Here's my thoughts. Number one, if you think that this is like on purpose and you're that upset about it, there's two options. You either monitor your account, and when you see it's not something for you, you send her a Venmo request for what she just spent money on, to the point where she gets the picture.
Just the point, yeah.
Or just fucking change your credit card number. Okay, that's real passive aggressive. So here's what I think you need to do: is have a conversation. Be like, hey, like, I know you didn't mean to. What do we need to do so that it's on your credit card? Or do you want, like, if you forget, you want me to just Venmo you? Like, give her the heads up. Like, hey. Well, next time it happens, I'll just Venmo you.
Yeah. And like ultimately, I mean, if there's like a clear, if she makes, say, just for argument's sake, say she makes $200,000 a year and you make $100,000 a year. And now, like, is that your credit card bill that you're paying off at the end of the month? Or is that your debit card that's draining you? And now you're on the hook for stuff. Like there's a, like this is going to get paid at the end of the month by somebody, not just it got paid at that time, unless it's like a debit card over and over and over again. But still, it's coming out of somebody's account that's going to get, or adding to a balance that's going to get paid by somebody. And it's like, is the idea that even though we're separate bank accounts, are we the same credit card? Like, does it really matter at the end of the month? Where you know what I'm saying? Say like if you're separate bank accounts, but you have a shared Amex, does that $1,000 balance at the end of the month get paid off jointly or from a bank account that you then resettle? Like that's just a conversation to have.
Right.
Period,
I think the reason that this is sending off a red flag to me is it feels very resentful on his part. Which is fine. He's absolutely valid in being like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
To me, and then her, it also feels like, is she being sneaky? I don't know. I can't like speak to anybody's motives here. What I'm saying is the fact that this is bothering this much to write into us is like, you got to have a conversation, because there's something about it that's pissing you off. Either that you, like
it's the blasé or the
right. It's like it's not the caring,
careless,
or again, there's so many factors. Like, does he make less than she does? So this is like even more of a slap in the face.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, is he more of a saver and doesn't like the fact that he has this much money spent? Like all of these things, there's so many aspects to finance that when you are not handling it by yourself, you have got to be checking in with each other all the time. And admittedly, like, we are not good about that. It comes to like a point where we're like, oh, you cover that. And then you're like, wait, why am I covering that? You cover that. So we struggle with that too. I think I would be shocked to find people who don't argue about money. I guess if you're a billionaire, you just don't.
Or you just like, you truly have like the joint everything. It's like one bank account, one.
But even when you have a joint and somebody's spending on it, and then you're like, why did you just spend this much money on Botox, on our joint account? So I think it's always going to be the conversation that you have to have with your partner. It's always sometimes uncomfortable because I think people get really defensive about finances. People were raised differently. People have different values about what they want from things. For me, the whole question just feels like maybe he needs to go have a conversation with her, like, and really lay out really reflect on what the reason for him being upset about is, and then have a conversation with her about that.
I totally agree. So let's do one more today.
Okay.
What are some things you wish you knew a decade ago that you do now? So at my 19-year-old self and Sally's 14-year-old self.
No, that was 2 decades ago.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Because I'm not 24.
Oh, well, you look it.
Thank you. So I talked about this earlier. 24 for me, 24 through like 26, really 23 to 26 were like some really formative years because I had just gotten out of college. I was working in the ICU. I was I was single until I met Will right around 25, 26. You learn a lot about yourself. You learn a lot about other people. Big things. I mean, we talked about like learning how to say no and not having FOMO, but I think biggest thing post-grad for me is understanding that all of your insecurities, all the things that you worry about, everyone else is worried about too.
There you go.
Which I think can apply to really any part of life. I felt the same way when I went to college and was insecure about not having a bunch of friends from camp or whatever, people coming with their stupid camp friends.
Orientation crews that are
right.
Like 40 people deep.
So it's like everything that you feel like you're not getting right, people feel the same way. I really felt like I was being tugged in a lot of different directions when I was that age. I was working a lot. I was having to work weekends. All the weekends I wasn't working, I was traveling for a bachelorette party or wedding. Was really overrun and couldn't say no and didn't want to say no, which is fine.
Yeah.
And then being like sad when I was like living out of a suitcase all the time.
Sure.
I wish that I knew that it was okay to put my mental health first. I wish I knew that it was okay to be upset about the guy who ghosted me or like the fact that some of my friends were like about to get engaged and I was single. I think when you're that age, they're like your friends are really split. Like I had friends who were literally about to get married, and then I had friends who were completely single, and we all like would go out, but then you end up spending time with the camp of people that you're in. Like
totally,
some of my best friends at the time were single because we were all single together. And I was really a grass is always greener side like person. I was like seeing what they were doing and wishing that I was, in a long-term relationship. Whereas I think they were probably looking at me being like, I wish I was still sowing wild oats.
Yeah.
I think, and finally, I mean, this was the era of, this is why Will and I met, like me getting insane anxiety after drinking, much like I had this weekend. just
really bad Sunday
scaries, and really not, really being insecure because I used alcohol a lot as a crutch for when I was not feeling confident.
Okay.
And I think now, knowing myself, not to say that I'm like the most confident person, but I think that I know myself a little bit better and know that I can either walk into a room and make a fool of myself on the dance floor or go hang out by myself in a corner and like be fine.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think that was hard for me to do as a 25-year-old, 24-year-old.
Interesting. Okay.
I wish I gave myself a little more grace.
Yeah, there you go.
Because I think looking back now, I was anxious, depressed some of the time. Because I was just very much worried about like what my life was going to look like and that I wasn't doing the right things and I was falling behind, I
think 24-year-old Sally would be very proud of 34.
God, I didn't mean for that to sound so depressing.
No,
I freaking love my life at 24. But
yeah, no, I'm just saying. I think if you could give 24-year-old Sally a glimpse of where you're at now, I think you'd take that.
Yeah,
like you did a good job, kind of thing. And I think I would too. Like I think 19-year-old Brett would be like, oh, cool, okay. But my biggest thing is I would tell myself, like, you don't need to plan every detail of your next, call it 5 years.
Yeah.
You can have goals, you can have ambition, you can have aspirations, and I still do. Like, you still want the lake house, right? Like,
Right.
I have those kind of, whether they're material or career or financial or emotional well-being or physical, right? You can have all these goals, but I would tell myself to stop planning like semesters worth of well, I'm going to do this, I'm going to apply for this, I'm going to get this internship, and then I'm going to go to Wall Street and
maybe just be a little more spontaneous.
Yeah, and I'd certainly, I mean, like, I could get obviously sort of morbid or emotional with it, be like, spend more time with your parents. You probably should do that, buddy. Like, by the way. So that's certainly on the list of like, make more time for family.
Yeah.
Because at 19, I still was, because I was in college, so I still went home for Thanksgiving and Columbus Day break and Christmas. Like I was home as much as you can be for a college kid that lives 3 hours away from Boston to Saratoga. But like 22-year-old Brett, with the job I had, I neglected home, I neglected my friends, I neglected my family, and not on purpose, just the way my world was going.
Yeah.
So I would tell, like, this question is almost geared better for 22-year-old Brett than 19-year-old Brett. Because college is a little, like I wish I was, cooler, had this experience in college, whatever it might be. But this is more 22-year-old Brett could probably use more advice than 19-year-old Brett.
Yeah.
I'll put it that way. But yeah, it would be some combination of make more time for the people that have been there for you your whole life.
Yeah.
So I wish I knew that I didn't have unlimited time with those people.
Yeah.
Especially family, especially immediate family. And then career-wise, I would tell myself to stop planning. Like, you're not going to spend 2 years here and then 2 years there and then 3 years there and then have your whole life figured out and live in New York. Like, it's just not gonna, like, you plan, God laughs, right? Like, and I've tried to practice that more, but I still have, an idea of what I think the next 5 years look like, but maybe it's just not so regimented.
Yeah.
And then I think, there's stuff that I practice now that sort of relates to that spending time with my family, in that life is short kind of trade-off there, where it's like, I try to say this without sounding reckless or spontaneous, like, take the trip. Find a way to get to the wedding for your best friend instead of being like, oh, it's just not going to work for us that weekend.
Yeah.
Find a way to turn the present into, like, living life, and sort of don't punt on things because you're thinking about your life at 62 when you have all your faculties and physical health at 29 or 22, right? Like, that's been my biggest sort of unfortunate realization, but a realization nonetheless.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of what, not that I wasn't at 22, because I think everybody kind of is living for that point, or 19, but certainly something that I practice now, that would like to know that, hey, keep doing this. So yeah, I don't know. I think it's a good question to sort of check in on every once in a while. Like,
mine would also be
what else you got?
To start maintain a skincare routine.
There you go. Sunscreen every day.
Sunscreen every day, you guys. And also to, like, probably 10 years ago, like, invest in Bitcoin. I don't know.
That was gonna be mine. Yeah.
grab some Bitcoin or something. Right?
Yeah.
You got any fun ones?
I mean, invest in Bitcoin is gonna be my number one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Learn how to code. I don't know.
Like, there you go. Yeah, learn how to sell podcasts and talk. If you told 10 years ago that I was going to have the career that I've had, like and I don't mean in like a braggadocious way. I just mean like, yeah, you're not going to Wall Street, kid. You're going to go to 2 media companies and an NFL football team.
Yeah.
I'd probably be like, oh, sick. But like, what?
Yeah,
That's not what
are
I'm
you
going.
talking about?
That's not what I'm doing. So these classes are going to be useless.
So this is pointless.
Not useless, but you know what I mean. Not what I went to school for.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's going to do it for us today on the mail-in. Please subscribe. Rate 5 stars, review the show, tell a friend about it. Hit the hotline number 888-362-MAIL. That's 888-362-6245. Or you can leave a question at the link in our Twitter bio at Mail-In Podcast. Sally, where can the people find you?
Sally deFries on Instagram and Twitter.
I am Brett Merriman at Schmerriman on those as aforementioned platforms. See y'all next week.
Bye.